They say no one is above the law. Debbie Walker, our self-appointed HOA queen, thought otherwise until she messed with the wrong family. I'm Marshall Carter, sheriff of Silver Creek County, and a father first, lawman second. When Debbie turned her HOA's paranoia on my 12-year-old daughter, she found out exactly how far a dad with a badge will go. It started on a crisp Saturday morning. I stood on the porch of our ranch house, steaming mug in hand, watching the sun break over our pastures. My daughter, Emma, stood beside me, her small hand tucked into mine. She's been my rock since her mama passed 2 years ago. Down at the gate, chaos brewed. Debbie Walker, in her designer boots and pastel power suit, stood at the head of an angry mob. About 20 neighbors, phones held high, live streaming every second like they were starring in a reality show. Debbie's voice, amplified through her stupid megaphone, cracked across my land like a whip. Marshall Carter, I know you're in there. Bring out your daughter. She let your horses trample our community flower beds. It's criminal vandalism. 5 minutes or I'm calling the real authorities. I squeezed Emma's hand. Her lower lip trembled. What Debbie didn't know was that when I checked our fence that morning, I found it sliced clean, deliberate sabotage. Someone let those horses out on purpose. I stepped down my porch steps, calm as a sunrise. The mob hushed as I unlocked the front gate. That's when I made sure they all saw the polished brass plaque beside the latch. Sheriff Marshall Carter, Silver Creek County. The silence tasted sweet. Debbie's eyes widened, then narrowed with rage. Well, how convenient. The sheriff investigating his own family's crime. That's corruption, Marshall, and this community won't stand for it. She waved an official-looking letter in my face. HOA citations. Threats of liens. She always loved her paper threats. I spoke steady and low. You wanted to call the police? Congratulations. You already did. Now listen real close. Someone cut my fence. That's criminal trespass. When I find out who, they'll answer to the badge and the law. The crowd shifted nervously. Only Debbie doubled down, voice shrill. 5 minutes. Hand that delinquent over or I escalate to the state police. This so-called ranch is an eyesore. She set an actual timer on her phone, holding it high like she was counting down a hostage exchange. I returned to Emma, who buried her face in my chest. Daddy, I promise, I locked the gates last night. I swear. I know, sweetheart. I trust you more than I trust half this county. Something in me snapped then. I'd kept peace for 10 years here, but I'd never let a bully aim her poison at my little girl. When the timer shrilled, Debbie puffed up her chest. Time's up. Marshall, the state police will know about your corruption. I smiled, cold and sure. Good. They'll love the security footage I have of someone creeping around our back pasture last night with bolt cutters. Her fake grin twitched. The neighbors muttered. Doubt crept in. The next morning, I left Emma doing homeschool at the kitchen table and headed to my station to pull the security cam feeds in high def. I was halfway through footage when my phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Daddy. Ms. Walker is back. She says she wants to talk about my future. I'm scared. I was out the door before I'd finished reading. I tore up my driveway in my patrol truck. Tires spitting gravel. There was Debbie, alone this time, leaning on our gate like she owned the place. In her hands, a thick folder, school letterheads peeking out. Even from my truck, I heard her syrupy tone. Such a shame when bright girls can't get into good schools because their father's too stubborn to sell an old ranch. She didn't see me until I slammed my door. Her fake smile froze when I stepped between her and the porch where Emma hovered, phone clutched tight. Back away, Debbie. Last warning. She flinched but held her ground. I'm just helping. Marshall. Big ranch. Small family. Too much for you to manage alone. People talk. Custody boards listen. It wasn't about the horses. It was never about HOA flowers. She wanted my land, and now, my daughter. She left with a smirk, but I knew then she wouldn't stop until she broke us. That night, I called my deputy, my best friend, Cole McKinney. Cole, dig up everything. Her bank records, her lawsuits, her threats. I'm done playing nice. 2 days later, Debbie escalated again. I was at the station when dispatch crackled. Sheriff, we've got news vans at your ranch gate. Something about a child welfare check and HOA intervention. I felt my blood freeze. I broke every speed limit back to Silver Creek Ranch. There she was, Debbie, bullhorn in hand, TV cameras rolling. This poor child is trapped on a rundown ranch. She needs proper community structure. She gestured like a demented game show host at my home. The young officers at my gate looked sick when they saw me. Deputy Mills, bless her, stepped forward. Sheriff Carter, we're here because Mrs. Walker insisted we check on your daughter's welfare. Protocol. I nodded. Then do your job, Mills. Go see my girl. She's baking cornbread and tutoring herself in algebra. Debbie screamed at the cameras. He hides behind that badge. He ignores HOA standards. His daughter is at risk. She didn't notice the cameras catching the officers walking back with Emma calm, smiling, healthy as a horse. The child's fine. No signs of neglect. Mills announced to the cameras. Emma stepped forward, voice steady for a kid facing wolves. Mrs. Walker comes here and says mean things about my dad. I don't want to leave my home. The mob looked at each other. Some lowered their phones. A few even stepped away, shamefaced. Debbie's righteous mask cracked. She snarled at me, voice low. You can't protect her forever. The ranch will be mine. That night, Cole called with gold. Boss, we found the motherlode. Emails. Kickbacks. She's been promising developers a chunk of your ranch for a six-figure finder's fee. I've got bank receipts, signed letters, the works. And he wasn't done. Also, Mrs. Walker's filed bogus complaints before forced out the Millers on Elm Street same way. Drove them bankrupt, then pocketed commission. The pattern was there. Threatened families, use the HOA as a hammer, then sell their land to her friends. At the next HOA meeting, Debbie strutted in like a queen on parade. She held up a thick envelope. Ladies and gentlemen, I present proof of Marshall Carter's corruption, abuse of power, unfit parenting. She started her slideshow photos of my ranch in Wintermud, some creative violation screenshots. I let her run her mouth. Then I stood, calm, and plugged in Emma's phone. Her recording. Clear as day. Don't worry, sweet girl. Once your daddy's ruined, I'll take care of you myself. This ranch is wasted on you too. Gasps. Someone cursed. Then Cole stepped up. Dropped printed bank statements and developer emails in front of the HOA board. Racketeering. Extortion. Harassment of a minor. State Attorney's Office is waiting for this packet. And if anyone wants to protect her, you can explain that to the DA. Debbie lunged for the mic, but too late. Officer Mills walked up, handcuffs ready. Debbie Walker, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and harassment. She screamed all the way to the patrol car. Today, 6 months later, Debbie is doing 5 years at the state women's prison. Her precious HOA? Under new management, my neighbor Dorothy Clark stepped in as interim president. First rule she passed? Paint your fences any color you like. No more tyrants in Silver Creek. The ranch is still ours. And Emma, my brave girl, is starting a kids' horse therapy program we named Hope Haven. She says no child should feel powerless again. I watch her teaching shy kids to groom ponies, her laughter ringing over the pastures Debbie once claimed were wasted land. Not wasted, not stolen. Ours, forever. If you enjoyed this tale of a father, a badge, and a bully beaten at her own game, share your own HOA nightmares below. Remember, some people hide behind rules, but justice doesn't need permission.